see if we go live here. All right, we could be live. The internet's supposed to tell me, but we're not sure. We're going to go anyway. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to RVAsec 2022. I'm really tired. It's been a long day. SecurityGuyTV.com. Chuck, my next guest. What's your name, sir?
Ian Garrett.
Ian
Garrett.
And you're the CEO of?
Yes, I'm the CEO of Phalanx, data security company. We're really focused on secure file transfers and storage and really solving for that human error issue.
Now, I love speaking to people, young people, about this, and especially CEO. That's quite an achievement that you're starting your own company, getting out there and doing this. Fantastic. I told you before the show I had my first computer in 1984. You weren't born yet, right?
Almost.
So I've seen the progression of this. Tell us what you guys do.
Yeah, so what we're really focused on with Phalanx is solving for what we believe is the biggest issue in cybersecurity these days, which is at the human element. So we realize that there's a lot of great technology out there, but if it's getting hard for people to use, they're just not going to use it, or they're going to create a shadow IT issue and bypass the security.
See, in the end, I'm a retired policeman. It's all about behavior. Mm-hmm. It's all, and by the way, 10% of the world misbehaves. If 20% misbehaved, we'd all be in big trouble, right? So you have to focus on behavior. Not more so, but equally with the technology, and use the two together. What inspired you to come across with this approach?
Yeah, definitely. So, it was really 2020 that my co-founders and I saw a big issue in the data security field, and particularly as a lot of organizations were forced to go to remote work, we realized that organizations weren't able to handle cybersecurity because everyone was really focused on perimeter security. How do we have corporate network security? But if you're sitting at your house or a coffee shop, the VPNs were getting overburdened, and people's data was going all over the place.
There's no perimeter anymore.
Right. So we wanted to be able to solve for that problem, and that really inspired us to kick off Phalanx.
Why focus on the encryption instead of any other aspect of security? I've said this for years. Why don't we encrypt everything? And people's answer is, well, everything is encrypted. Except when it goes from point A, sometimes we decrypt it to point B. I said, well, that's not encryption. Right. Speak to me about this, because it confuses me a little bit.
Yeah, so, for us, we wanted to solve, again, something that hasn't been tackled in the recent years. So if you think about file encryption, it's not sexy at all, and that's actually the whole point of it for why we wanted to do that, because at the end of the day, really file encryption requires a human security decision, and if you are making those decisions, or leave it up to your users to make those decisions, they're not going to do it all the time. So, what we wanted to do is flip the script on that, and we provide, automation to do the work for people. All they have to do is, decrypt it when they need it, and that's how it should be anyway.
Now, my brain's not as big as yours, so this might sound dumb, but can ransomware, can a hacker encrypt encrypted files?
Yes,
they can.
You can keep it going.
Bastards, unbelievable. All right.
So
encrypting works, but then it doesn't work.
Right. So there's a number of threats that we do protect from, and actually one of them, from a ransomware perspective, is the double extortion. So ransomware threat actors are notorious for obviously locking down your systems, but also they like to steal it as well, and then make you pay again so that they won't release it. So
it's funny, they didn't used to.
Yeah.
And what's weird about that as a business model is the Russian groups, the large criminal enterprises, starting getting mad at the single operators. They're giving them a bad name.
Right.
Because, if I say, I'm going to give you your data back, I give it back because that's a good business decision.
Yeah.
Because now people will believe you. And now if you don't know, the question is, do I pay you? Do I not pay you? It's not as good a transaction.
Right.
They're lying about lying.
Well, also, it's I believe it's part of just the evolving threat. So, they started locking down the data, people started backing up their data, and then now they're trying to steal it. So as ransomware is evolving, we're actually a way to solve for that new evolving threat.
Well, let's talk about the evolving threats. As it evolves over time, how do you adapt to these changing threats? I always wondered if we acted more like hackers, if we would be in front of the hackers. Because we act very defensively. And now there's this new term I hear, offensive security. And I go, well, should you have always been that way? we haven't been, but maybe that's where we need to be.
Yeah, I mean, so they always say a good offense or a good defense, or offense is a good defense. Actually, my background spent a number of years in the military doing offensive cybersecurity as well. So
there you go. So why don't we do that everywhere in the private sector?
I mean, I think we're seeing a lot of that with red teaming and the ability for pen testing. The issue right now is that it's very expensive. So that being said, if there's a way to automate some of that process, so it's less of a single event and more of a continuous pen testing essentially. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think going back to your question about the adapting to new threats, we spoke on it a little bit earlier, but we just got to get away from thinking about perimeters, thinking about cybersecurity as as long as I can keep it out, it's fine, because at the end of the day, and then part of, again, what we're doing is saying, assume people are getting in. Again, attackers' mentality, assume people are getting in. How are you protecting your most important assets, your data, if people are getting in? And, if they're offloading it, assuming that's happening. So that's what, we wanted to tackle with Phalanx.
What do you foresee as the next, next biggest security challenge that everybody says ransomware? But really, in a cost of dollars, scam email costs more money to people.
Yeah.
And we're not putting that at the top of the list. I mean, it's ransomware is part of that.
Right.
But I'm talking about, hey, I got an invoice here for your inkjet printers. And the person's been, well, hey, let me pay it. By the way, they were doing that in the 80s and 90s. And people writing checks and sending them to them. So scam's been around a long time. Now it's just automated.
Now it's just easier to get to people. And,
but
I mean, I think anything that hinders productivity is going to be a big threat and a big threat to business. So, locking down systems for ransomware, that's one version. But as time goes on, and as we have more productivity-focused tools, with remote work, with hybrid work, attackers are going to be able to just use that against us.
What's your opinion on pay or don't pay? I think it's situational. Maybe a case that paying's the right business decision, and maybe a case where it's not the right business decision.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would say there's no direct right answer. It really is. It depends. But I would say one factor is what did happen to that data. So was that data stolen? Is it just locked up? And what's the impacts to your...
if it's stolen, there'd be different analysis.
Right. Yeah. So if it's stolen, you don't know that you'll ever be able to know for sure if they're not going to release it anyway. So.
Well, fantastic. Give us your website one more time.
It's phalanx.io.
Great name. And CEO, give us your name.
Ian Garrett.
Ian Garrett. All right. Back in right here on... Wait a minute. I got to get my conferences right. Back in RVAsec 2022 on securityguidetv.com. Thanks, my friend. Good
Thank you very much.
All right.